So, today's feeling like a home gym type of workout for me today. I think I might go ahead and pound some Game Changer for my pre-workout today, or perhaps I might even mix them. Might live on the wild side a little bit. But I don't know, man. All jokes aside, guys, one of the reasons I do like Rockstar is for the actual energy in it. Because I know some people are like, the taste. I like the taste of it. But even regardless, even if there's a monster that tastes better than Rockstar, no energy in it. This stuff gets me going like Adderall when you're not prescribed. Anywho, got a little bit of a different video today for y'all. I'm going to go downstairs and prep this bench. I woke up at 1. Just coming downstairs for the first time today. It's 3 p.m. I'm in my boxers still. I don't always sleep in late. Just kidding. Yes, I do. But when I sleep in especially late, I like to be extra lazy and not even leave my house for the sake of the gym. Thus coming downstairs for a home gym session. Now the only downside is what we all saw coming. This bench, I think, is finally starting to get maxed out here. This bench said it was only 400 pounds max allowed on it. You guys saw me do my little dehumidifier wedged underneath it for security thing, and that's been working just fine. But I think it's finally starting to catch up. See how the legs are starting to bow outward a little bit? It's still very secure. You can't wobble them. You can't wobble them. And the bench still feels very, you can't wobble it or wiggle it at all. So it's good. Like, it'll do me for today and, you know, a few other sessions and whatnot. But I'm looking into a new power bench. My friend has a very good bench that also adjusts in the incline, so I'm going to see if I can get that off of him for free before I go and buy something new. And if I can't, I'll look into a legitimate, strong-ass bench meant for heavy loads and buy that for this home gym here. But for today, we're going the poverty route, or should I say the MacGyver route. So, we're good to go now. Wedge that solid-ass dehumidifier underneath it. And wedge those 5-pound plates. Except I just realized that I wedged the thin ones under there. These fat ones are the ones that need to fit under there. So we'll get rid of that little space right now. And now for my max weight. What's funny is this is the weight, 65 pounds, that I could max out the first time I ever tried bench pressing at 14 years old. And it's the weight I stayed repping for a long time throughout my freshman year and even sophomore year. And I used to just imagine and make believe that they were 45-pound plates to feel better about myself. Fun fact. OMG, look what just came in the mail, guys. Woo! For my brand new car key. Got the DC Comics black and red Superman, what do you call these things? These things. Can't think of the word of them right now. Lanyard. Got that new Superman lanyard. We'll remove this thing, that's just cardboard. We'll remove this thing because I don't need it. We'll keep on this Superman logo here and put in my Bentley key on it. Yeah, buddy, because I'm 12. How to avoid carrying things downstairs. Meh. I made sure I took my insert belt out for that one so it didn't get broken. This will be very risky. You think it's going to bust open or nah? It's kind of foolish. Let's see. Woo! Back cushioned it, no spillage. Yes, sir. And now we go on downstairs. Watch this epically long trip to the gym. Pre-workout, crushed. And now we waddle. Downward hoe. Oh. It's a long drive to the gym right now. Hey, by the way, got another batch of orders ready for you guys. Taking them to the post office after this workout. What would you think about me lowering the prices of these blue lifestyle tank tops? They're very fitted, down to like 10 bucks. Would you jump on them if I did that? They're 15 bucks now, but they don't seem to be a big favorite of everybody, as you can see. Everything's gone except for them. If I load it down to 10 bucks, you want that? Is that a good price for you guys? You let me know. I'll be over here bench pressing right now. What's up, family? It's Nick Wright. Check it out. The last video uploaded, titled Dead, I said something kind of funny, like we're doing 4 sets of 8 on squats. So that's like, what, 36 reps? Clearly, you guys corrected me. It was 32 reps. I was 4 reps off. And that got me thinking. After reading the comments like, Nick, you need to go back to school. Nick, what age did you drop out of school to become King Fluffy? You know, all jokes like that. It didn't hurt my feelings, by the way. They were funny. But it got me thinking. I was like, you know, I've never really gone into my academic life at all. And it's a subject that's commonly brought up by you guys, asking whether or not I'm going to school or whatever. So I figured I'd actually take this video, seeing as today's workout is going to be the exact same workout you already saw in the video titled Grounded from earlier this week. I would show you guys the workout so you have something to watch, some visual aid. You don't have to sit here and just watch my ugly mug the whole time, but actually go into just dropping a few fun facts about Nicholas Wright you may not know pertaining to the scholastic side of my life. And we'll begin with just that, math. Now, it's kind of funny, all right? I have a 121 IQ. The average IQ is about 100, so, you know, it's a little bit ahead of the curve. It's not bad. I'm not a genius, but I have pretty decent comprehension and all that stuff, and I do really well in areas that I have an interest in and that I apply myself in. Math, however, is not one of them, no matter how hard I try in math. Because I found out that I actually have a learning disability, a legitimate IEP in math. My brain just does not work with it. It doesn't string numbers together to make them make sense in any sort of an equation or algorithm at all. It's just how my brain works. So the jokes you guys are making are actually pretty accurate. I am bad at math. They don't make sense to me. Ironically, I'm really good with numbers. Like, I can remember sequences of numbers very well. You give me a zip code to remember, a pin number, whatever. I remember it easily on the first try. I'm very good with recalling numbers. But I cannot string them together in equations. That part of my brain just does not work. And I'll give you an example as to how bad it really is, okay? So the way my high school worked is there was Algebra 1, Algebra 2, 3, and 4. Those were the default basic math classes. Everybody began as a freshman in Algebra 1. Those who excelled in math would go on to the more advanced class, you know, calculus and all that crazy stuff, trigonometry. The average kids would just climb the ladder, you know, sophomore year is Algebra 2, junior year is Algebra 3, etc. And then, you know, you need four math credits to graduate. So basically Algebra 1 through 4, you just need 4 classes throughout the course of your high school career to graduate. However, below Algebra 1, hidden dark in the shadows, are classes called Math 1, Math 2, Math 3, and Math 4, and they're as basic as they sound. These are your elementary school basic math classes. These are the training wheel math classes for kids who really just don't get it. So, little old me was put into Algebra 1 along with the rest of my freshman peers, and I did so poorly in it the first 2 weeks, I was transferred out of it all the way down to Math 1. So I dropped 4 classes. And then I failed Math 1 twice in a row. And to make it worse, Math 1 actually has 2 teachers, a main teacher and an assistant teacher for those kids that need the one-on-one help. It was so bad before I learned that I actually had an IEP because I did not know what I was doing wrong or why I wasn't getting things. I knew I always had a very creative mind and I had trouble focusing on anything I didn't really care for. But there would be periods in time in which I would try really, really hard. I'd ask the teacher, work one-on-one with them after school, get tutoring, get help from my dad, and I would think it makes sense. And test day would come and I'd be feeling all good and happy, and I'd be like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, carry this 2 over here. Yeah, that makes sense. Hand it in, definitely pass that one, get it back. I'd have like a 45F with like everything wrong. The entire paper would be covered in red. And it was, honestly, at the time, it was really, really discouraging. I almost wanted to cry just because I was pulling my hair out like I didn't know what I was doing wrong, why I wasn't getting it, because I was trying and trying and trying and trying. The way the pattern's always going with me and my creative ass mind is I will perform like I have bad ADD with most classes simply because I'm not interested in them. The second I take an interest in the class or I force myself to focus, I end up doing pretty well in it. So I thought that was going to be the case with math class. Alright, you know what? I'm focused, I'm determined to make this thing happen. Boom. But I hit a brick wall. It didn't happen. Eventually I learned that I actually had a legitimate learning disability in math. And in fact, the only reason I even got all 4 math credits and passed my 4th and final math class is because in Math 4 of my senior year, our teacher ended up leaving because she was pregnant. And we got a substitute teacher in for the whole year. But because it wasn't his school class or anything, he didn't care. So all he would do was give us this one worksheet to fill out once a day. That was it. We filled the worksheet in 5 minutes, be done, and then we had the whole class just frolic around. And it was so bad, he didn't care enough to the point where we would actually just copy off of each other blatantly in front of him, hand it in. He didn't care at all. And then we'd play hackball, which is a sport we made up, involving a recycling bin and a hacky sack. So the only reason I even passed math at all and got my credits for that was because we got lucky and had a teacher who didn't care at all, and I could copy off of everybody. It was bad. Now, on the positive side of my academics, anything that I really loved and did well in, so English, I never got less than 100 on anything in English. I don't remember what my reading level was at because high school was like 4 or 5 years ago for me, but it was well beyond my actual age in reading. And of course, it carried over into public speaking. I love public speaking, but I was always good with articulating, grammar, everything. Vocabulary was always very good. I loved it. I got a kick out of it. I always did very well in it. When it comes to my genetic, I guess you call it genetic, my genetic gifts, art was one of my few and only talents that I was born with. Okay, art was something that without taking any courses I could have gotten a scholarship in, and that's not to brag at all because, and frankly, it's just art. I don't even utilize it anymore, so it's irrelevant to me in my life right now. But just as a fun fact, particularly sketching, that area, sketching was something I was very, very, very good at. My dad was always very artistic. I come from a very artistic family. It was just something I never really had an interest to pursue, but I could probably dig up some old like drawings and sketches I have at like my parents' house from back in the day for you guys if you're interested in seeing that. But art was something I was always naturally talented at. I have like I said, a very, very, very creative mind, and my dad and my sister are the same way, where when we're not interested in something specifically, we won't be able to focus on it at all. So bad that you would think that we have ADD. My mom thought my dad and I all had ADD, but we don't. Come to find we don't. And the biggest difference is we can physically focus when we apply ourselves. We just have to be interested in it. But man, if we're not the least bit interested, I know some people who are very studious, even if they're not interested in the class, they're just, it's in their head where they just have to do good at it. They're determined just to get a good grade, and they'll do their work. I can't do that. I'll start daydreaming. I'll take a pen and pretend it's a barbell and like make believe Ronnie Coleman's bench pressing 4 plates. Like, I just get so thrown off if I'm not interested in it at all. And that's why I realized really, really young that the academic route wasn't for me. Unfortunately, the U.S. educational system is very flawed. You know, there's the old cartoon picture that kind of makes a good point of it, where they have like an elephant, a fish, and a monkey all lined up. And they say, you know, the elephant's going to feel stupid because they're grading the entire class on how well they swim. And the elephant's going to feel stupid because it can't swim as well as the fish can. And that's kind of how the educational system works. I mean, you have to do all these general education classes that don't apply to your major or what you want to do in life at all. And you may not be good in some of them, and you may fail them. And I realized that a long time ago. I don't want to spend my time and money doing homework and assignments for these classes that have nothing to do with what I actually want to learn. So I did finish high school. I graduated high school. I don't remember what my GPA was. I did not take my SATs because I knew I was not going to go to college. In fact, I had wanted to drop out of high school really, really young. I'm glad my dad forced me to stay in. I ran with the bad crowd. I was always that kicked out of school. I was a little miniature Slim Shady back in the day. No respect for the teachers, because I used to let people tell me what to do and dictate to me. Like, I knew what I liked, knew what I was good at, knew what I wanted to do, I knew what I wanted to learn. Anything I didn't want to learn, I didn't care about. Never been good at people telling me what to do. Hence why I am my own boss at this point. Little fun fact about me. It could be a flaw, but I accept it. So I finished high school, I graduated, I have the option to go to college should I ever want to. However, again, for all the reasons I stated, academics is not for me. I knew what I'd be doing now is the way I wanted to go. I do have a lot of job experience in sales, in the corporate area of things. I've done a lot in my young little life. So because of that, I have a very stacked resume, which was actually put together by Mark Lobliner himself. And I could get a job in the corporate field of any business I wanted to in my industry if I ever needed a fallback like that. Do I ever plan on going to college again? Possibly. If I decide that taking a course in something specific would benefit me in my endeavors, I definitely will. You know, perhaps maybe taking a course in accounting to help my own business. That might be good, although it is a lot of numbers. I don't hate on college, nor do I knock it. I simply look at it very literally and logically. I think college is a good tool that should be used only if it helps you get to your goal. So some people that want to do something that does require college, yeah, that's great. You need that. That's a tool to get to where you're going. If it's not a tool that directly helps you get to where you're going, why waste the money and time on it, in all honesty? And besides that, I think there's a lot to be said in the actual education system itself. I believe it teaches people how to kind of just cheat, memorize, and get stuff done as opposed to actually learning things. So that's my little side thought on the education system. But little fun facts about me, guys. Hopefully this wasn't annoying. If it was interesting at all, let me know. I figured I never really talked to you guys about this kind of stuff. That's it, guys. Please comment your thoughts below. Let me know what your story is. Let me know what your stance is. Always open. And as always, like this video for peace and prosperity. Subscribe now. Love you all. Peace.